I'm Mike Biderman. I've been teaching at UTC, began in fall of 1972, graduated in experimental psychology from the University of Iowa. I got my undergraduate, and I was a big drinker when I was an undergraduate, and I had a terrible grade point. I had a 2.7 grade point, which is not a graduate student grade point. I did very well on the GRE test, but did very poorly because I was out drinking every night rather than studying. And I was admitted to the University of Iowa psychology department because they had to admit me. For me, one of the few things that a state legislature has done that made sense, for me anyway, and that is that if you graduated from the University of Iowa and you wanted to go to graduate school there, they had to give you one semester. And the department head told me, I met with him, and he said to me, I don't want to admit you, but I have to, because the legislature requires that we admit any student who wants to to go to graduate school there. So they gave me one semester in the psychology department, and I took it, and I didn't get all A's, but I got A's and B's, and enough to allow them to continue. I started working with a prof named Donald Dorfman, and Don Dorfman, and if you think I think in numbers, that's all Dorfman. He was continually doing mathematics, and he was working on a signal detection theory, a model for how people behave when they listen to faint signals and noise, which is what you're doing, except that you're not listening for a faint noise signal. You're smelling a faint olfactory signal, but it's the same thing. And he was working on a mathematical model for that, and he needed a program written that would apply his model, because it was a complex thing that had to be done with a computer program. It was not, you couldn't just add 1 and 1 to get the answers. You actually had to do a fairly complex computer analysis. And he took me on as a student. I don't know why. I think they probably forced me on him. I don't know why he would have chosen me. But anyway, I ended up with Don Dorfman, and he says, "Can you program?" And I actually could. I could write programs in Fortran. And he said, "Well, I've got this. I need to have this program written." And he said, "I've given it to the computer science department, but they can't figure out how to write it." And so we had a meeting with the folks in the computer science department, and I can still remember, we went down, and this guy that we talked with, he had a screen, and I'd been punching cards, and to write a program, and then you had to punch each line of the program on a card, and then you submitted a deck of cards. And he had a screen, and he had all the images of the cards on the screen, and he could just scroll up and down that screen, and then he had the output on his screen also. I thought, oh my God, that is so wonderful. I had to go get paper output from the computer science from the computer office, and I had to wait a day for them to run my program. I would submit cards and then wait a day and come back and get the paper output. And he had the card images on his screen, and he had the output on his screen. I thought that was so wonderful. Anyway, I took over the project, and I was able to write the program, and we got a publication in the Journal of Mathematical Psych in 1971 because of the model that he was working on. That's how I got into this. I came here to UTC to teach the sensation perception course, which I did for 40 plus years, but I was really interested in the SAT course, and taught the introductory statistics course, We moved it, we added an intermediate statistics course at the undergraduate level. When our graduate programs came into being, I wasn't involved for a while, but then the guy, Larry Kleiman, who was teaching the graduate stat course for the industrial organizational program, he didn't want to teach statistics, he wanted to teach I/O. And so Ed Green, our chairman at the time, came to me and said, would you like to become part of the I/O program and teach the stat course? And I said, sure. And so I began teaching graduate statistics. We then finally ended up with the I/O and the research master's programs. I taught the stat for both of them and we started with a one-semester graduate stat program. We added a second semester. In about 2000, I added a third semester as an elective, and then in about 2010, I added a fourth semester. So now we have actually 4 semesters of graduate statistics. And for a while, I was teaching all 4 of those courses. And so that's where I am right now. And now my graduate stat courses are being taught by other faculty in the psych department. Okay, and so my graduate school work, I did a little bit of this when I came to UTC, but not much. But my graduate school work was involved in measuring the sensitivity in detecting faint stimuli, which is exactly what this is about.